November 2023, a Ukrainian soldier is in position to take a sniper shot that will change the world. He's armed with a new rifle named Horizon's Lord, and he's almost 2.5 miles away from his target. The sniper adjusts the rifle's calibration and lines up the shot. He pulls the trigger. In less than 10 seconds, his bullet speeds toward the target, hitting dead center and racking a confirmed kill. The Ukrainian soldier has just broken the world record for the longest ever successful sniper shot by a considerable distance, and it's all thanks to the rifle he holds in his hands. So what makes Horizon's Lord so special, and why could this rifle help Ukraine terrorize Russian President Vladimir Putin's army on the battlefields of Ukraine? Let's find out. We'll start by taking a closer look at the rifle itself. On the surface, there's little to distinguish the Horizon's Lord from any other sniper rifle. It's made by the Ukrainian company Mayak and is described as a custom sniper rifle that can be configured to fire rounds of several different calibers. That alone makes it interesting. The variance in calibers allows the rifle to be used both as a sniper weapon system and an anti-material rifle. In other words, the rifle is capable of carrying armor-piercing and incendiary rounds as its standard rounds that are used on a human target. But beyond that, the rifle doesn't look particularly special from the outside looking in. According to Mayak, it's between 59.84 and 71.65 inches long, depending on whether the butt is folded in or not, and can be configured with one of two barrel lengths. The 41.33-inch barrel is ideal for various rounds, including a special round we'll dig into later, though the sniper will need to switch to the 47.24-inch barrel if they want to fire 14.5 by 114 rounds. The rifle's weight is also variable, coming in at 15.5 kilograms when loaded with a single bullet and rising to 17 kilograms if the sniper loads a full magazine. It can also fire surprisingly quickly for a sniper rifle. A talented sniper can rattle off up to 8 rounds per minute, though it's unlikely most would use that capability unless firing on targets for which absolute pinpoint precision isn't a priority. That may seem strange to say in the context of standard sniper rifles until you remember that the Horizon's Lord was made to be as effective as an anti-material weapon as it is a rifle to take out human targets. According to its manufacturers, the rifle can destroy anti-tank missile systems and large-caliber machine guns, as well as be used to damage lightly armored military vehicles, all larger targets that allow the sniper to benefit from the rapid firing rate. But it's the effective range that really sets the rifle apart. Mayak claims that a good sniper can hit a target that's up to 8,202 feet away. For context, the Macmillan TAC-50, which is an anti-material rifle that previously held the record for the longest ever sniper kill, has an effective range of 5,905 feet. The Horizon's Lord supposedly adds 2,700 feet to that range. Naturally, that means the rifle had attracted a lot of attention before it was ever used on the battlefield. Mayak first presented it at the International Exhibition of Arms and Security in June 2021 in Kyiv. The event was notably held before Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine, suggesting that Mayak foresaw a need for a weapon that would allow Ukrainian soldiers to fight over long distances. Regardless, the weapon attracted a lot of attention from the beginning, though it was seen as more of a technical demonstration of what might be possible rather than a viable weapon that could be used in combat just yet. Ukraine has proven that assumption wrong. Interestingly, it also appears that the Horizon's Lord rifle could meet the specifications of a proposed rifle that the United States wants to acquire. According to the Defense Post, the US military is currently engaging several defense industry partners to develop a new long-range sniper rifle that could be introduced to the battlefield. That rifle would need to have an effective range of 5,520 feet, a range that the Horizon's Lord easily exceeds, and would need to offer a modular design. Again, the Horizon's Lord seems perfect. It's a customizable rifle that can be chambered with several types of rounds. The only sticking point would be length and weight. The US wants a rifle that's no more than 56 inches long and weighs less than 10 kilograms. The Horizon's Lord exceeds both of those requirements, though its exceptional range may just be high enough that the US military will overlook its length and weight issues to bring it into the fold anyway. After all, they'll have noticed it being used to break a record just like the rest of the world has noticed. That brings us back to the kill. It was taken by a Ukrainian soldier named Vyacheslav Kowalski. Far from being a member of Ukraine's special forces, Kowalski is a 58-year-old ex-businessman, but he clearly has the spirit of an elite soldier. According to NDTV, Kowalski waited for several hours just to have a chance of lining up a shot. When the opportunity arose, his target stood a staggering 12,468 feet away, the length of 2 Brooklyn bridges stacked end to end. Obviously, hitting his target was the foremost thing on Kowalski's mind, but in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, he also revealed that he hoped that making the shot would have a huge impact on the Russian mentality. "I was thinking that Russians would not know that that's what Ukrainians are capable of," he told the newspaper before signing off with a chilling message. "Let them sit at home and be afraid." Kowalski also provided more details about the circumstances that led to him taking his now famous shot. Along with his spotter, he spent several hours observing Russian soldiers as they chopped wood. He could have killed any one of them if he wanted, though both he and his spotter decided the soldiers in his sights were too low-ranking to justify the round. They wanted to hit an officer. The duo continued to search until they found another group of Russian soldiers far off in the distance. A quick scan revealed that one of the soldiers was giving orders to the rest of the group. The Ukrainians had found their officer. Kowalski received the simple instruction from his spotter: "You can." But he didn't, at least not immediately. Using special software, the sniper measured the distance to his target, with the software also providing him with meteorological data and allowed him to determine how much of an impact the wind, temperature, humidity, and curvature of the Earth would have on his bullet once he pulled the trigger. Then he took a test shot. That shot revealed that he'd gotten the wind speed wrong, which was all he needed to know. After making a couple of adjustments, Kowalski loaded his rifle with a bullet measuring 6.2 inches long. Aimed, fired. The bullet fired out of the rifle at a speed of 960 miles per hour, hurtling towards its target. Just 9 seconds later, the Russian officer was down, and Kowalski had recorded the longest ever distance for a successful sniper hit. Kowalski had reportedly already started packing away his equipment before his spotter confirmed that the shot had found the mark. It sounds like a story out of a film, and one that could easily have been made up as an attempt to use it as propaganda to instill fear into Russian troops, but there's a twist. Footage of the shot exists. The footage was released on X, formerly Twitter, and appears to confirm everything that the sniper claims. Admittedly, the footage is blurry. Around 2 seconds into the video, the viewer hears the mighty bang of the rifle being fired. Nothing happens for several seconds after that, until the Russian officer, who's circled in the video, drops. Assuming that the shot is valid and the existence of footage suggests that it is, the shot broke the previous record of 11,614 feet held by a Canadian sniper who claimed his kill in Iraq in 2017. In fact, it doesn't just break the record, it shatters it by about 850 feet, showcasing just how powerful Horizon's Lord could be as a tool for Ukraine to instill fear into Russian soldiers. After all, this isn't a rifle that's used to fire from conventional sniping positions. Any Russian who's out in the open in Ukraine would be in danger. They would never know if the sights of a Horizon's Lord rifle are being trained on them. And even more terrifyingly, they'd have no way of knowing that a sniper is even scanning their location. However, not all are convinced that the shot is as record-breaking as Ukraine claims. For instance, NDTV notes that a US Marines sniper instructor named Steve Walsh isn't convinced that the shot was as skillful as Ukraine claims, or that the weapon used to achieve it is as impressive as it seems. For conventional sniping, there are so many variables that are hard to quantify, he says. So the reality is anything over about 1,300 meters, roughly 4,265 feet, can be more luck than skill. Perhaps he has a point. However, the footage appears to show a confirmed hit, regardless of how much luck or skill was involved. And according to Brad Millard, a ballistics expert based in the US, the 9 seconds it takes for the bullet to reach its target seems accurate based on the reported exit velocity of 960 miles per hour. Let's assume that it wasn't just luck that led to the shot landing. Instead, it was a combination of a 58-year-old sniper's skill and the weapon he had in his hands. Naturally, that brings us to another question. What makes the Horizon's Lord so special? We already have one of our answers from the examination of the rifle conducted earlier in the video. Its effective range is a staggering 8,202 feet, higher than any equivalent anti-material rifle used in the world today. A comparison to the 2 long-range rifles in service in the US military today showcases just how impressive the Horizon's Lord's range truly is. According to the Defense Post, the US currently uses either the M107 or Mk15 rifles for hitting targets at extreme long ranges. The Mk15 has an effective range of 5,906 feet, with the M107 capable of hitting targets 6,562 feet away. The Horizon's Lord has them both beaten substantially, adding 1,640 feet to the M107's range. For context, that adds the equivalent of 5.46 American football fields to the rifle's range, a staggering distance that makes it easy to see why Putin's troops will fear the prospect of it arriving on the Ukrainian battlefield. However, beyond the extreme range, the Horizon's Lord isn't especially unique or innovative in its design. Mayak hasn't reinvented anything in terms of how rifles are built, with the gun using previously existing technology, meaning that any other country could have made it. The secret isn't in the rifle itself, it's in the bullets. And bullets is the correct term to use here because the Horizon's Lord is capable of firing several types of rounds, which lends it the versatility it needs to be used both as an anti-material and anti-personnel rifle. Let's start with the bullet Kowalski used to achieve his record-breaking shot. According to Forces.net, experts believe that the sniper had configured his rifle so that it could fire 12.7 by 114 rounds. That type of cartridge was specifically highlighted by Mayak in the technical documentation it released for the rifle, with the company claiming it's been specially designed to destroy material targets and for use in counter-sniping combat. It says that the cartridge significantly exceeds the combat characteristics of the 14.5 by 114 cartridges typically used in anti-material sniper rifles by up to 35%, with the company noting that it has a smaller recoil momentum. That's important because it reduces the impact of snatching when the rifle is fired, an issue that can lead to a carefully calibrated rifle shooting off target because of the sheer force the bullet creates when it exits the chamber. The cartridge also allows the shooter to equip their rifle with a shorter barrel. This may not seem especially important until you realize that a shorter barrel reduces the rifle's overall weight. A lighter rifle is easier to transport, as well as being easier to adjust should the sniper need to change position to get a clearer shot. A shorter barrel also has another advantage. It opens up more positioning opportunities. Snipers won't have to worry as much about having a longer barrel that could potentially collide against cover or peek out far enough that an enemy soldier will be able to see the rifle before it's fired. Then there's the combination of case and round. As mentioned earlier, the 12.7 by 114 cartridge that Kowalski used is about 6 inches long. According to Forces.net, those cartridges have a large case coupled with a comparatively small round. Why does this matter? A larger case allows the sniper to pack the cartridge with far more gunpowder than they might be able to use with another cartridge, allowing for the round to be propelled out of the rifle at an extremely fast rate. Mayak says that the sniper's gunpowder choice could allow a bullet fired from Horizon's Lord to reach a maximum speed of 2,460 miles per hour, assuming a bullet weight of 750 grams and a barrel length of 47.2 inches for a shot of more than 10,170 feet. For context, that's supersonic speed. Specifically, it means a bullet fired out of the Horizon's Lord could move at 3.2 times the speed of sound, making it almost impossible to counter with laser-based defenses. Realistically, the 12.7 by 114 cartridge is never going to reach that speed in practice. The 10,170 feet required to hit 2,460 miles per hour is beyond the Horizon Lord's effective range. Still, the fact that the cartridge can be packed with enough gunpowder to make this theoretically possible shows you just how impressive Mayak's new cartridge is. The Firearm blog digs deeper into what makes the cartridge so special. It points out that the cartridge is designed to offer a best-of-both-worlds situation. It notes that cartridges such as the .408 Chaitak and the .416 Barrett, though being excellent choices for extreme long-range sniping, are only useful for anti-personnel use. They have no armor-piercing qualities, meaning they're not viable as anti-material cartridges. Conversely, a dedicated anti-material cartridge, such as the 14.5 by 114, may be capable of taking out armored targets. However, its selection of special-use bullets is compromised by the fact that it has no precision bullets available, making it less useful over extremely long distances. That's why Mayak chose a 50 caliber barrel for the Horizon's Lord. With a 50 caliber barrel, the company could create a multitask cartridge, the 12.7 by 114, that's capable of carrying long-range precision bullets as well as several special military bullets that are usually used in guns that have .50 BMG barrels. From there, all they had to do was take a 14.5 by 114 cartridge and neck it down. That reduced the cartridge's length while still maintaining the bottom end of the cartridge that can be used to hold a large amount of gunpowder. Obviously, this matters for the propulsion needed to send the bullet flying over longer distances than ever before. However, there are other benefits for having this neck-down cartridge for the Horizon's Lord. The 12.7 by 114 is a ballistically superior cartridge that maintains a flatter trajectory in flight than the 14.5 by 114. While that doesn't mean it's unaffected by atmospheric conditions, it's less affected by the wind and can better retain its energy over a long distance. Having a smaller cartridge that's still capable of traveling over large distances also meant that Horizon's Lord could be made smaller than it otherwise would be. Again, that makes it easier to transport. The gun can fit into any common vehicle, with both rifle and cartridges being easier to carry over the battlefield. So the Horizon's Lord has an impressive and innovative cartridge. But even though the rifle itself isn't as innovative, it's still an impressive piece of kit. Take its modular design as an example. Though the 12.7x114 is clearly the star of this sniper show, Mayak understands that it's not always going to be the best choice. That's why they've incorporated modularity into the Horizon Lord's design. As the firearm blog points out, a sniper can switch out the rifle's barrel and bolt head easily, changing the rifle's caliber in a matter of minutes. What does this mean in practice? With the appropriate barrels and bolt heads, the Horizon's Lord caliber can be changed to the .416 Barrett and .46 Steyr, and even to the .50 BMG that inspired the 12.7x114 cartridge's design. It can also be converted to fire 14.5x114 rounds, a useful feature given that those rounds are more likely readily available to Ukrainian soldiers, as well as even larger 23x115 rounds. It's also important to note that the customized cartridge Mayak has created for the Horizon's Lord will rapidly take a heavy toll on its default barrel. Enabling rapid switching of barrels thus serves as a practical use in terms of allowing for quick replacements when needed, as well as offering the rifle immense versatility that makes it usable in several situations. And the versatility extends to the 12.7x114 cartridge. According to Mayak, several machine guns, including the Soviet-era KPV heavy machine gun that's seeing heavy use in the Ukrainian war, can be converted to fire the 12.7x114 cartridge instead of their typical 14.5x114s. There's just one caveat to all of this design ingenuity. Mayak hasn't released any test footage to show how accurate the Horizon's Lord is when it's switched to be able to fire 14.5x114 or .50 BMG cartridges. That means we don't know if the impressive range achieved with a 12.7x114 cartridge is replicated when the rifle uses something larger. Nevertheless, it all adds up to an impressive package. A sniper rifle that has a unique cartridge that isn't available to Russia, as well as a gun that technically has no set caliber thanks to its switchable barrels. For Ukraine, that means their soldiers get a gun that's light enough for them to carry in the field and can be converted as needed if they run out of 12.7x114 cartridges. But perhaps the most surprising thing about Mayak's innovation is that the concept of the 12.4x114 cartridge isn't as new as it might appear. Surprisingly, nobody else has come up with it before. In a YouTube video published by The Sun, a UK newspaper, a British military expert explains that the 12.7x114's case capacity allows it to contain a lot of powder, while its design means it has a flat trajectory. We know this already. However, he also brings up that the Germans came up with a similar idea during World War II. The cartridge he demonstrates is a .50 cartridge that has a large case that tapers into an extremely thin neck. At the end of that neck lies a bullet, one that looks comedically small in comparison to the rest of the cartridge, with the expert pointing out that the Germans did exactly what Mayak did for their 12.7x114 cartridge, necking the case down to fit the bullet while providing a case that could hold plenty of gunpowder. Ultimately, the expert concludes that there's no technical innovation in the Horizon's Lord itself. Instead, the success of the rifle comes down to Mayak's intelligent selection of components coupled with the unique cartridge the company has created for the gun. All of this leaves us with one more question. What does the record-breaking shot achieved with the Horizon's Lord mean for Russia? Putin's soldiers now know that Ukraine's snipers are equipped with a weapon that can kill soldiers at distances never before thought possible. They also know that the Horizon's Lord isn't just an anti-personnel rifle, it's an anti-material rifle that can be used to take out armored vehicles at great distances. So Russia now has to deal with Ukraine having a capability on the field that isn't available to them. And though it's possible that Russia's weapons manufacturers may be trying to replicate the Horizon's Lord and, crucially, Mayak's unique cartridge, the odds are that they're not going to succeed unless they can get their hands on either for reverse engineering. However, the rifle's impact may not be as devastating as it could have been. After all, the war in Ukraine has seen heavy use of drones for attack and surveillance throughout. Those drones are as capable as a sniper's bullet of traveling extensive distances before striking a target, so it's possible that Russia may adapt by using its drones to hunt for Ukrainian sniper positions further afield, potentially allowing them to counter the use of the Horizon's Lord. It would be no different than the games of cat and mouse already being played out on the battlefield in Ukraine. Only now, Russia has to search much further afield to ensure its troops aren't going to be ambushed by Ukraine's new rifle. But what are your thoughts? Do you think the Horizon's Lord and its special cartridge provide Ukraine with a huge tactical advantage on the battlefield? Do you believe this was the gun responsible for breaking the world's sniping distance record, or is this an example of Ukraine creating the record to use as propaganda in its war with Russia? Tell us what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching the video. Now go and check out how Ukraine's Snipex Alligator mega rifle is terrorizing Putin's army, or click this other video instead.